Hey folks, thanks for jumping on. I see we've drawn another big crowd tonight. Been a little sarcastic. I don't know if these invites for some of these live sessions aren't getting out, or if just nobody's up at this time of day. I could see kind of New York or London, everyone over across the pond. They are probably all just getting up or still in bed for another hour or two, because it's 2 a.m. New York time. I'm sorry, it's 12:30 a.m. New York time, which means it's about 5:30 a.m. London time, and almost 6 a.m. I think people are just getting up, so I think that's typically why I get a lot of people jumping in towards the end of the session after about an hour versus in the beginning. And anybody in New York is probably in bed, so I think about switching up the times, but this is definitely, I find, one of the best times to set up your trades. So for all of you that joined us, thank you very much. We're going to get going here right now. One second, guys. Sorry, I'm just typing a quick note to that here. Anyway, I hope you all have had a great week so far. Market's kind of jumped around a little bit. Had a nice upward trajectory there on euro and cable today. And sorry, I'm just kind of losing my train of thought here, guys. Yeah, the market had a nice. Let's switch over to euro real quick. Had a nice run up, as you can see, into today. Looking for this thing to continue on into the week, and the pound dollar actually had a nice big move. I was actually looking at this yesterday as this little formation here was forming, and you can see here how all of the consolidation level in here is being respected, and price hasn't, other than one tiny little retrace back in here, did not want to come down into it, and then price exploded off. I was actually looking at this down into here, and I was thinking, it'd be a nice time to take a trade, but I typically don't put trades in on Mondays, and just, for whatever reason, just one of my trading plans anyway. Rarely happens. I do sometimes, but it's got to be the perfect setup. And price expanded about 90 pips to the upside. So one of those things. It is what it is. But with that being said, I think we've got some opportunities coming in here. Now, keep in mind, I'm just going to bring up the Forex calendar, so you guys have all that fresh in your mind. Sorry, my computer is very slow. That took a while to load. There we go. So you can see Tuesday we've got Draghi coming on, and he is going to be going live here in about a little under 3 hours, about 2.5 hours. And we've got some. That's pretty much about it for the rest of Tuesday. We've got Canadian dollar's got some movement coming in, some manufacturing sales numbers come out early New York open, and I've actually got a trade idea out for our members. I posted a new signal on the Canadian dollar. I'll talk about that a little bit here today, but I also discussed that as well too during my market report that I released yesterday. So have a look at that. Sorry, on Sunday. So you can have a look at that. And then I'm also just going to pull this up here too, just because it's always nice to get a couple of news reports and a couple of different varying sources, just making sure that all on the same page. And here we are on Tuesday. As you can see, a little bit more action. So we've had some Aussie news that's come out, which I'm going to talk about the Aussie here in a few minutes. And here we are now into Draghi. He's going to be talking, again, high impact news. So just maybe hang on to the euro for a little bit here. And then there's a whole bunch of low impact news, Italian news coming out. Some news from Spain, and then some US dollar news later on in the day, and on and on and on. So nothing too high impact, but we should see some pretty decent movement today nonetheless. And then some yen news coming out. So again, for you yen traders out there, you can have a look at that. And then more of that yen into tomorrow. So I'm going to be looking for a few trades, and look at all this news here for the pound sterling on Wednesday. Just be careful on the pound, because this could do a little bit of whipsaw unless you see some some area that comes up and it's just a lock, and hang on. And it's a lock, then I would maybe just take it easy on the pound dollar there going into Wednesday's trading. But we should see some nice action nonetheless today and tomorrow. So let's jump over to that and see what we see in the markets. So US dollar. Now I wanted to bring this up to you here. This chart is what we're looking at for the US dollar. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. So price really, we've been sitting in a sideways consolidation ever since early summer, only for price to briefly pop out, run the stops, and then come right back down. And price actually traded up into, if I can get it on here, I'm going to have to go a little bit further. Price just traded up just briefly to take out these highs in here and ran into this little pocket of consolidation, hit the resistance on the movement, and now it looks like we're seeing lower prices. Historically, price on the US dollar is typically fairly bearish. So, and you can see down here, you can see the COT data. It's starting to run down to the negative. So we're probably going to see price on the US dollar come down a little bit, and I'm looking for lower movements on this, on sweeping under here and potentially under this low in here to cap off the week. And from there, we'll worry about when price gets down there, but I'd be looking at a move even potentially down under this low rate under here. So that's about $2, $1.50 to $2 lower than our current location on price for the US dollar. And now all we got to do is worry about where the setup's going to come. And I believe what we're going to see here going into Tuesday, if we see price come in and run these lows under here and start taking out this low, price is probably just going to start cascading down, and we're not going to get that movement up. What I'd like to see, however, is price actually come back up and run up to about the 94.40 to 94.30 level, somewhere in there. And I'd like to see price roll over and fail to get any higher from that location and then run lower. And we'll probably see that here going into some of these news events here into New York Open. We'll probably see London, if price doesn't sweep down, as I say, if I'll just zoom in again on that one more time. If we don't see price start to take out this low here and then subsequently this low, then and hold price where it is, we'll probably see that run up start to come here in the next couple of hours. And then into New York Open, where I'd hope it would make the high, and then we'll start to see the drop lower. That's sort of what I'm looking at here going forward. Now, again, if we just start sweeping these lows here, then it's going to start dumping, and you can get in on that once price clears these lows here. But I would definitely wait for them to do that, and not as well too, not just a rejection. If they come down, wick once and then reject and move higher, that's not the move you want to get in on. You got to make sure price closes below these lows here. So I just brought up this bar chart price comparison just to let you know that right now my current feeds are out a little bit, And this is why you want to have multiple verifications on your data feeds. As you can see here, price differs a little bit on this one here. Same price, it's still 94.03 and 94.05 in relation on, as you can see here, 94.05 on bar chart and 93.03, 93.05 on this feed here. So again, just verifying all the different prices, but you can definitely see the market structure difference on this one versus the other one. But same ideas. As you can see, market structure is pretty much the same. We had this initial run down, had that gap close in from last week, Friday's trading, and then has sold off again. And as I say, I'd like to see if they want to just hold prices kind of at current location here and start to make that run higher. At the very, very least, you see these equal highs here. I'd like to see a move above that. So price could come up. I'd like to see this and see it falter somewhere in this neck of the woods. And I'll just throw a price tag up on that. Anywhere from 94 on this feed, 94, call it 25, to 94, not about 40, I'd say. So just kind of dial those numbers in for you a little bit. If price starts going above 94, see this rejection candle right here, this wick up, how it rejected and took off and just fell off. That was just a stop run, little turtle soup stop run, and they're gone, and they're off to the races. Now I want to see one more retrace higher, basically the last failure swing. And again, wherever we get that, it could be 94.25 or 94.40. I'll be watching price. If we see some strength in here, I'll be waiting to see what they want to do, and if they want to cascade it through one more time, 94.40. This number right here would be ideal. I would really like to see this one get tagged off. Nice deep retracement, and then they got no reason to come back up here. All of this range has been filled in, price has been satisfied, and then we can continue to the downside, and we can get out of this sort of midterm trading range that price has been in and start breaking some of these lows under here, is what I was saying. So that's kind of where we're at for the US dollar. Obviously, flipping scripts into Euro USD. I'm going to just get rid of a couple of items here, not relevant anymore. As you can see, price held off. So these levels here that I was talking about here, some of these price tags that I just took off, I did not want to see price go any lower than that. As you can see here, Monday traded down and completely rejected, ran higher. Very, very bullish sign. So they basically came up here, failed to get above these highs, came back down, ran the low just under here, sweeping liquidity, and push price back up, only to come down and retest the waters one more time, and off of this small consolidation level in here, and expand it up. So I'm looking for further price movement higher. And what I'd like to see, so Draghi's coming in and speaking here fairly shortly. I think what we're probably going to see, and you see how price is just sort of wicking up in here, I think we'll see, as we see the US dollar, sorry if I'm switching around a little bit too quickly, as you see US dollar start to make this move higher, which is what I would like to see, I want to see the corresponding drop in the Euro USD. So you see how they came up in here, wicked up once, twice, took the stops above here. I'd like to see them drop back down. And I'd like to see a fairly big drop. So one of two areas. 116. Let's see where 116.40 puts us here. Excuse me. 116.40. The first area, and then a swing low underneath this low here, and a rejection at 116.60. One of the two areas in there, and I would like to see them halt price. If they want to start seeing price go down in through here and start to take out this low, then we're probably going to want to sweep under this low and tag back into this small consolidation level in here, and then we'll be watching price. If they have enough strength to get all the way back down to here, then they may want to try even pushing down one more time and getting back down into this area in here. I don't want to see that deep of a retracement. I would like to think that this was the final stop run. You can see price action up into here. It came down, failed, came up one more time just to run it down, take out the stops that I have highlighted right there, and expand up. Again, I don't want to have to see them come all the way back down to here this deep. I think this would be, on this price move here, just a fib low to a high. They came back down to the 50% retracement level down in here, and I think I'm hoping that's enough, and that we'll just see one quick little retrace lower to about this level. Hopefully Draghi will push that thing down in the next couple hours, and then if they fail to go any lower than that, then I'm going to get all over that on a long, and I'll be looking to buy. I don't want to buy up here, of course, and the other thing is, if price fails to get lower than this area right into here, see the small consolidation level right in here, where they came up and sat, and they're basically just stacking orders up in here and then popped price. If they fail to get lower than here, then that's going to be very, very bullish, and we could see price really make a quick, sharp run above the highs in here, which is what I was projecting for my target. So, that's about all I got to say on the Euro USD for now. Pound dollar. Big explosion on pound dollar today. And again, same type of idea, looking for price to retrace a little bit. However, this one here has a little bit more bullish price action than what the euro has given us today. The euro has sort of left some spots open for price to come back down to, whereas the cable really hasn't. Price is traded very, very efficiently all up and through here, and great buildup of positions in this location right here, right before Monday New York Open kicked off, and you can see the expansion on this. And they briefly came back down into here. Now, if you take a fib off of this low to that high, you can see they came right back down to that 79% retracement level. Beautiful expansion off of that as well. I don't think we're going to get as deep of a retracement on the pound dollar. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm going to be watching this area in here, just sort of the highs of this consolidation area right here. These highs right in here, I'm going to be watching to see. You see how the candles come up and they're wicking. The bodies of the candles are closing right here. That's about the 31, yeah, call it 31.45 level, somewhere-ish, in and around there. I'd like to see price dive into that here, going into the London Open and creating the low right there, and then expanding higher than that. If this low gets lost into here, then they're probably going to want to take price underneath this low here. So I'm not going to take a position on this yet. I'm going to be looking, watching, and waiting and see what the reaction is like. Now, keep in mind, not a lot of pound dollar action. Pound sterling news volatility going to be injected until Wednesday. So Wednesday there's 4 or 5 different news events, all starting at about 4 a.m. New York time. So Wednesday we're definitely going to see this thing get pretty volatile. And today it could just consolidate sideways and really not make a whole lot of movement. And what they could be doing is really manipulating the Euro USD. So just keep that in mind going forward. Now, we are seeing price falling off, and as I say, they took this low out from last week, and so far they haven't really been interested in getting back up there too quickly. Monday made another low, and so far we are trading off on Tuesday, but as you can see, we're starting to have price start to make one more run up into here. I would imagine we'll probably fall off a little bit deeper, so just keep that in mind. If this level in here, though, gets broken, if we break these highs in here, then we'll probably want to see price run up above these old highs right in here. And there's a couple of nice equal highs right here, obviously, that price could easily try to run for. And if we do see that pop up into here, which would be very nice to see, if we do see that run up, we're really going to see that strong thrust higher on the Euro USD, and we'll see price run above those highs there. So that's sort of what I'm expecting, but we'll wait and see how that one pans out as it does, and we'll move on. So long story short, Euro USD waiting for a bit of a retrace. Looking for this low to get run out here. If they do, I'll be watching 1660. If they want to go deeper than that, I'll be watching 1640. I honestly don't think they're going to get all the way down here. But again, Draghi speaking, so we could get a real quick price fluctuation. And again, if we lose these lows here, if this consolidation gets traded into deeply, hold off on your positions, your long ideas, because they could be wanting to take it further south. So just bear that in mind. But ultimately, I am looking for higher prices on the euro and the pound dollar. US CAD. Formulating a bit of a trade idea on US CAD, and I'm thinking we're probably going to see price run up back up into this consolidation area in here. You see how price spent quite a bit of time in this area here. Now, a couple of different entries for you. I'm looking for the most part right around the 3100 to 3110 level. Basically, you see these right here, equal highs right there. I'm just looking for a stop run above these guys here. I'm not looking for full expansion. Now, there's a couple of different areas above price where we could want to reach up to. One of them, again, equal highs up here. We could see a move, 1, 2, 3 highs. We could see a move above there. And in which case, so we've got equal lows here and equal lows here. I'd be inclined to normally take a position right above here and say, watch it go up here and then get short on it. However, my only thinking on why we may not see that happen is just because of the US dollar. If we get a US dollar push above these highs here, then yeah, US CAD more than likely will push up to the 130.80 level. And, sorry. Sorry guys, 1 second. Sometimes I miss the this thing here and right click and I'm too quick about it, and it's just a quick sell limit order. 130.180, and I would be looking at this level only for essentially a 10 pip stop run on these equal highs here. If price has a, man, sometimes I tell you, MT4, I love it, sometimes I hate it. Okay, there we go. I'd be looking for just a sweep, a 10 pip sweep above these highs right here, essentially. Just a real quick once up, down, and a reversal, if this area gets traded through. But in order for that to happen, I really think we'll need to see some fairly bullish movement higher on the US dollar. And I think if price runs up to 94.40 and then starts to fail, then I don't necessarily think we're going to get that deep of a movement. Because, I mean, that would be 140 pips from here. And that's a couple of pretty big movements on that. I'm kind of realistically thinking it may not be that much. But, you know, we'll see. Just that's why they call it trading. You got to wait, watch, and see what happens. So I'm looking at about 13100 to about 131, you know, 10 or 20. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of thinking here, if this number here, I wouldn't let price go any further than 130, 130. If it does, we're probably going to see a 50 pip run deeper. So watch your trades on that. But to be honest with you, I think I'd be, you know, about 130, 120. If price had a willingness to get all the way up to there, maybe even 121, 125, I'd be thinking, okay, well, price may not be that interested in rolling over. So I'll be waiting and watching at this price. So if I did take a long entry here, I would, I'd be inclined to exit the position right around here, because that just means that they're probably going to want to push it up higher into this level here. If they don't show a willingness to go above that, then all bets are on, and away you go down to the races. And I'm thinking much lower prices under here as a target. So longer term trade, not going to happen tomorrow, not going to happen tonight. Probably take a little while to develop, but watch that one. Keep it on your radar screen, because that's a nice setup, I think, that for a nice little swing trade. Now look at this movement in UJ. Again, exactly opposite of what the US dollar is doing. US dollar is showing some strength, and UJ is showing some, US dollar is showing some weakness, and UJ is showing some strength. So find that very interesting. If you are a UJ trader, I would look at these highs above in here because they look like they're probably going to get ran out. And that's really about all I want to say on this pair here. Not a big fan, although if they do get a fairly decent run, we might see price run up to 112.60 to 112.70 as a possibility. And you can see the stop run right here underneath that low, that equal low. See that stop run right there? And then a nice expansion higher. So unless we see some massive downward action on the US dollar, well, we could see a push up higher into there. Again, just keep in mind, right, US dollar has really been sitting in a sideways consolidation only for a brief pop out of here. So it could still sit sideways for the next little while too, and that's always an option. You know, that's what they've been doing in here. So just when you think they're going to be breaking out of that action, they kind of drag you back in again and take you through it. And so just sort of watch for that. Crude oil. I was looking for crude to basically react right at this level here, at this 68.50 level. So far, it's been holding price. What I'd be looking for is one quick movement down and a rejection. So you see how price is really basing right here, pretty much right at that 50 level. I'd be looking. Let me just move this level. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So you see how price is creating all of these perfect lows right here? Everyone's sitting there thinking that's support, that's support, that's support. Price is not going any lower than that. Only for them, what's going to happen, they're going to bust price down to here and probably reject. If price comes down, and you see the 79% retracement level, see I'm working on this fib right here. Now, typically I'll do a body to a body fib retracement, but either way, it comes up with the exact same number. I just had it on there just for something I was analyzing, but right about that 79% retracement level, it's a little bit more accurate if you do, where I'm looking, if you do the wick highs on just this particular example, but I'm looking for price to come back down on that 79% retracement level to about 68.30. Nice little 20 pip stop run, and then I'd be looking for price to reject this area and start to run higher. I am short-term bullish on crude oil. However, crude, kind of like the US dollar, is sitting sideways. They're really not doing a whole bunch. Be careful on this one because they were just took price down here only to run it up to hit the stops above these locations to run right back down, and then a failure swing in here. And now we're trading right about that 50. I mentioned this in our recorded video. We're trading right about the 50% range of this low, of this high to this low in this consolidation area. So price really from this point could go anywhere. I'm a little more inclined to believe that we're probably going to see a nice strong reaction from here, and I'd just like them to come down and sweep these lows briefly, reject, and then run this thing higher. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on on crude oil. And but just bear in mind, if this 68.30 level, honestly, if they keep going, if they go deeper than 68.30, I would not want to see them go any lower than 67.85. That would kind of be the line in the sand for me. If they wanted to take this thing lower than 67.85, no go in the trade. They're going to be sweeping lower and coming under this area under here. But you know, we'll have to wait and see and watch on that one. But I'm definitely looking for a stop run and rejection as is kind of what I'm thinking. See how deep they want to take it. Again, it should just look like one candle that comes down, kind of like this right here. One candle comes down, briefly touches it, and rejects and moves higher. Well, that's the price action that I'm looking for here. So we'll see if we get it on crude oil. And I don't know. I wanted to dive into some commodities, and let me know if you guys are game for this or not. I could just save this and do another separate session on this. We are coming into the fall. Typically a lot of movement on certain commodities. Put a clean chart here. Great rejection and expansion off of this level down here on copper. I'd like to say let's get long on copper, but really not happy with this price action in here. You can see how it's just chopping sideways, poked its head up briefly once, twice, only to fall right back in the range. Failure swing to get above this guy here, and now we're right back in the middle of the range. So big rejection candle right here. So very, very volatile. I'm not totally convinced yet that we're going to see price completely reject and run higher. I just don't know. We could see price want to make one more push lower on copper, but there's a lot of things right now that are pointing this thing to be bullish. So we're just going to kind of have to wait and see on that one. What I'd like to see, honestly, is a run above this high here and then a return back down. That to me would be a nice bullish sign. But we had that exact same thing right here. You see how price came down, ran up, came back down, retraced back in, and then pushed up one more time, and we failed to get above any of these highs here and rejected back down underneath this low. I was thinking and hoping that this was the nice bullish movement that we were going to get, that was going to start taking price all the way back up above here. But that obviously didn't happen, so we're kind of right back down in the middle of the range. So we're going to have to wait on copper, I think, for the interim. Cocoa, just ugly trading in here. Look at this. Look at this price action, straight sideways, and then price jammed down. Now, I was really hoping that they wouldn't take so long to be in here. If they came up, expanded up, and came right back down, let me get rid of this guy here, because that's, you don't need that. But you can see price came. I've actually had this on my level here, this 2136 level, for a while now, and look at what price did today. Came down 2137, missed by 1 pip. I'm not totally convinced. If this candle here had rejected and went right back up, then I'd be a little bit more inclined to think that that was just a quick stop run underneath these lows, and we're going to see prices run higher. So I'm going to hold off on this one and just wait and see on cocoa. There's a lot more people out there that are a lot bowler than I am, and they saw that, they would have taken the trade, and you would have been right. You would have had a nice movement up today. But for price to sit down and do this and come back up and reject right back down, I don't love that. I really don't love that. Like, you see what it did right here. So I think we could see lower prices. So just as an FYI. We'll watch on that one, though. Coffee's getting crushed here into here. You can see the day that it had today. So no go on coffee either. Continued expansion to the downside. I had some great ideas on coffee that still haven't come to fruition. I was really hoping that these lows in here wouldn't have come this deep. You can see I kind of got it here marked off at this 96.90 level. Didn't want to see price come lower than that, and it didn't. It came off of this low here, and 1, 2, 3 times and expanded higher. A lot of guys got trapped in on this move, and then boom, crushed them out. And it didn't happen overnight or anything like that. It wasn't just like a quick run down. You know, it took better part of a week to do it. But yeah, that one was too bad. But we're gonna have to wait to see, because there's a lot of money pegging that this thing is going to start running higher. COT data has never been higher for the bulls on this one. Seasonally, we should have got a pop. Kind of getting long in the tooth now, so we may have to wait. I believe coffee is bullish, much more bullish into November. I have to double check on that one, so maybe hold off on that one. Cotton doing nothing as well too, sitting in the sideways price action here. Probably going to see price fall off a little bit lower on this as well, and come under this low here. Not really too interested in anything there. Orange juice, same thing, just sort of sitting, meandering sideways. Not a whole lot of stuff going on there either. To be honest with you, if price runs those highs there and fails right about the 155.20 level, which probably isn't going to happen. It's probably just going to start cratering from here. I'd be looking at maybe going short on this pair. But I wouldn't be looking at taking any longs on this yet. The price, I think, still has to come back down a little bit further on it. It's nice price action, though. Some nice big movements in here and in here. That's really about it. Nothing else really excites me too much. Sugar's made a nice bullish movement up into here, only to fall right off at this level that I had earmarked. Look at that. Price came in about a pip or two higher, and or a tick or two higher, and just crushed back down. Pretty incredible reaction on there. Price really just came in just at the low of this candle there and just completely fell off. So we'll probably see price trade lower on sugar. Nat gas, the artificially suppressed market, just like gold, sitting going sideways, not going anywhere. So not a whole lot to discuss on commodities, on those few commodities anyway. There are definitely some commodities out there that are moving. I'd like to do a more fuller, in-depth analysis on this, on getting into several other markets, but I'll do that at a later date. I'm going to sit down on my own when I get a little bit of time to do that. Lots of time on it. We're just getting into September, so it's not like it's a big rush. And these moves are, long, 2-3 month moves. They're not like they're, 3-hour moves, so we're not going to miss anything of importance. And finally, Bitcoin, not doing anything. Again, sitting sideways. I mean, just compressing. Looks like a giant wedge. Okay, looks like a big wedge formation pattern here. So, Bitcoin, I don't know. I'm thinking we're going to see lower. I've been calling Bitcoin lower for, I don't know, God, all year long. When price came back in and failed in here, I was saying lower, lower, lower all day long, and I wanted to see price, see these X's down here. You don't see any X's above one level right there, which they failed to get above. But I'm thinking lower, lower, lower on Bitcoin. So if you're holding, you better sell. Or if you can endure the pain, you may have to endure a whole lot more, because I think they're probably going to take this one way down, sub 4,000 levels anyway. See this red line, 4,900? I think they're going to come into that area in there in the next little while. So just be cognizant of that if you're holding Bitcoin. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. Gave you a couple of ideas to watch. Hopefully that'll help you out trading going into Tuesday here. Still waiting for price to come up here. So there's really nothing that I can take right now. I was really hoping to see the corresponding drop quickly on Euro USD and to come down into here. I was actually even thinking about taking a short trade on this and just scalping, price was up here, so it was right here about half an hour ago. I was looking at saying, maybe I'll scalp, a quick 20 or 30 pips if we get a run lower than there, but I opted to not do it. But I am looking to get long on this thing here, so I'm going to wait for Draghi to speak before I get on anything. If price stabs down and slams down in here, I'll be looking at taking a long. I will not permit price to go any lower than this consolidation level in here, so if you do see price come all the way down to 1640, I would absolutely 100% not be in that trade. Give it 15 pips. If it goes any lower than 15 pips, forget about it. Get out, bail, because it's going to go much, much lower. And we could get underneath these lows under here, so just be aware of that. But I'm going to be watching for those two levels, 116.60, 116.40. And if we get any reaction off that, I'm going to be targeting these lovely guys up here. So that could be a real nice trade if we get, let's say we even got 16.40 on the day. Run above those highs, 80, 90 pips, boom, done, handled. That's your week trading. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll give you guys 30 seconds to run some questions through here if you have any. Hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. And a couple of ideas, like I say. I'm not really looking at the cable just because, again, I think the trade's going to be in the euro just because with Draghi talking and all of that news coming in here. I shouldn't say that, actually. There's only really one on this guy here, but that other news event page I showed you, there's a ton of euro news coming out, so Italian news and news from Spain and everywhere in between. So that's kind of what I'm looking at there. And then potentially some trades on the cable tomorrow, but we'll go through that tomorrow. Shoot. Any questions, guys? Got another 10 or 15 seconds here I'll give you, and then we'll wrap it up. How you guys trading thus far in September? Are you guys making some money, hopefully? So far it's been good for me. My thing is you know, not to overtrade, wait for the quality setups and wait for them to come to you. You know, 1 or 2 trades a week, and that's pretty much for me. I don't try to do too much more than that for obvious reasons, but yeah, even on the 4-hour. Kind of really like that 1640 level. Yeah, 1640, 1635, somewhere in and around there. I think we could see a nice movement down to that. And then I'm not looking, again, this stop run, I think, in my mind, the stop run, if they were going to take this thing high, lower, sorry, if they wanted to take this thing lower, they wouldn't have done this stop run. You see how price came into this candle here, low 116.18, low here comes in at, come on, why does it give me in one candle? There it is, not the other. Low comes in here at 116.17, so it's a 1 pip stop run. That's due to swing, and then a run higher, a big expansion higher, up into a very logical area where we should see a bit of a retracement, and I'd like to see price come down one more time and then start expanding up from there. So now the only thing that I would have liked to see them do, which we're so close up into here, I think they're just holding off. What I was thinking is on this price run here, if they would have got above this high here before they ran it, and before they ran back down, that would have been nice, because that definitely would have been a higher high that was created, and price should catapult up past that. But yeah, I think this right here, see this, how they captured these highs here, and I think that's, again, turtle soup. We should see a nice retracement back down. I'm hoping anyway. So that's kind of what I'm watching, that and really crude oil. Looking for this false move lower here, and then a big projection higher. If we lose 67.85, we'll be turning our attention to the bearish side of things, and we'll look for price to swing underneath this low here and back into this consolidation. So anyway, that's it. That's all, guys. Don't have anything else to say. I appreciate your time. Dave will be in Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m. for the New York Open session, and hopefully you guys have been checking Dave's stuff out, because well, he started pretty much back live again last week there. He did Wednesday and Friday trading, and great sessions on both of them, so hopefully you caught that. Again, New York Open, I know sometimes it's a little bit better for some people to trade, and let me know as well too, guys, if you're interested in. I used to do a lot of New York Open sessions on, you know, like Tuesdays and Thursdays and things like that. If you guys are interested in anything like that, let me know, and I can certainly maybe switch some of these London Open sessions to that. I prefer the London Open because it really gives you that protractive move going into the start of the day, and potentially either buying the low or selling the high of the day, and then getting the full movement of price out on the day, and that's what I'm really trying to capture. New York Open, it's a nice continuation patterns that typically get seen, and you can get into them, and you know, sometimes you can get the full day's move, but a lot of times you're only catching a percentage of the day's move, and not that that's a bad thing. Being right is being right, and that's money in the bank every single day, so no issues there. But you know, I'm just kind of the opinion that it's nice to see the setup ahead of time before markets are moving big, and you can kind of really see before the you know, while the dust is settling, the moves that they're looking for, and taking advantage of them. But anyway, if you guys do want to see more New York sessions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it. Just comment on this video. I'll go back through my comments here. I get notifications when guys comment or like my videos, and then I can give you some feedback on that and maybe change things up a little bit. But and with that being said, if you guys like the video and like what I'm doing, just like it. Give me a thumbs up, for God's sakes. Do me a favor. I do a lot of time on here talking and spitting out my ideas. The least you guys could do is take 30 seconds and just like a video here or there. And I would really appreciate that. It kind of helps me get noticed a little bit more on YouTube and hopefully draw a few more people into this thing, and that I'm not doing this for, 15 people to check out on a regular basis. I'd like, 1,500 one of these days because, for obvious reasons. So anyway, that's about all I got to say. I'm going to wrap this one up. I've been going now for about 55 minutes. So I appreciate your time. Again, Dave will be in Wednesday morning, New York Open at 9:30 a.m. And I'll link you and tweet you and send out all the notifications ahead of time for that. And I'll be back again as well to send out posting charts and everything else to our traders chat room. So until then, guys, have a great trading day on Tuesday. We'll catch up to you next time.